Blown fuses, excruciating heat, and maximizing profits are just some of the things we're gonna touch on in today's video, so let's get to it. Warning, there are people pretending to be me in the comments and on social platforms. I'll never ask you to add me on WhatsApp or Telegram, and I'll never ask you to send me money, crypto, or your personal information. Alright? So please be careful, use your common sense, and don't let any of these imposters fool you. Alright? Now back to the video. Hey, how's it going, GPU heads? Thanks for clicking on my video. Seb Hesler here. And guys, guess what? This is my 100th video. And it's my 1 year anniversary on YouTube. And we just hit 69,000 subscribers. At least all of that would have been true for when I meant to post this video, which was last week, but unfortunately I got the illness that's going around right now, so this video is a little bit late, sorry about that. But that said, thank you guys so much for everything. This first year on YouTube has been crazy but awesome in so many ways. The mining community really is amazing, and I'm so glad that so many of you are enjoying the videos and finding them helpful, so thank you. And since this is sort of a anniversary video of sorts, I figured let's make it about the biggest lessons that I have learned during this first year of mining, so that hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. So let's get started. Right, so the first lesson is pretty boring, so let's get through it quickly, and that is that GPUs can get dirty pretty quickly, and if you leave it too long to clean them, they can get pretty gunked up, and what can happen is the cooling can actually start being worse because the heat sink can get full of dirt basically, so the air can't travel through properly. Your fans can get clogged up so they can't spin as well. And basically what the lesson is that if you leave it too long to clean them, it's gonna be a massive hassle. But if you just go over and give them a good dusting with like an air blower every couple of months or so, you stop that dust and dirt from building up too bad, and you end up having to not put that much effort into cleaning your GPUs, because you won't have to do really deep cleans as often because you're dusting them off, every couple of months or so. All right, so for lesson number 2, we're gonna have to do a little bit of story time here. So I started to scale up my mining farm pretty drastically in October, November, December, January now recently, and that was all good and fine when temperatures were really low here where I live. But now when the weather is starting to get a lot warmer outside, my house is starting to get unbearably hot from all of these GPUs mining in my basement. And it's even getting to the point now where I'm having to start turning off some rigs just so that I can survive in my own house, and not to speak of how warm the GPUs were getting, to the point where they were overheating and I was having to shut rigs off just to not have my GPUs thermal throttle, right? And having to turn rigs off just sucks, and it just hurts to watch GPUs turned off while they could be making you money, but instead they're just standing there doing nothing. And so the big lesson here is that I should really have considered heat management right from the beginning when I started to scale my farm up. But and I know I said this recently on the Mining Roundtable podcast, but if I were to start over from scratch, I would probably just go all out octominers like this one from the beginning and build all of my rigs in those. And Octominer is actually sponsoring this video, so thank you so much for that, Octominer. And I asked them, is there anything that you want me to say in this video? And they basically said no. So I'm just gonna say what I exactly think about the Octominer, but I mean, spoiler alert if you've watched my review on it, I really do like the Octominers a lot. And for that review, basically what I found was that it's using less energy than an open air rig like this one. It's keeping the GPUs cooler than an open air rig, and it actually ends up costing less money to buy one of these than it would to build a 12 GPU mining rig like this one anyway. So it's kind of win-win no matter how you look at it with the Octominer. But in regards to just heat and why I would really like have preferred to have all Octominers is just because of how a server case like this works. You know, it just pulls cold air in from one end like this and then just pushes it all out the other end, and that makes it just so much easier to handle the heat. Like you can just point the hot end out towards like a window or out a vent or whatever and just have it be removed, you know, in an easy fashion. But with a open air rig, you know, like these ones, all of the hot air is just kind of going everywhere, and there's no easy way of like containing that air and moving it away effectively from the rig. Like sure, you can have fans kind of blow it in a certain direction or whatever, but with a server case like this, it all just goes where you want it to. And so Octominer has two different versions. This is the 12 GPU one. They also have 8 GPU one, and normally you have to buy at least 5 of the 8 GPU one or 10 of this 12 GPU one, but Octominer is actually lowering the minimum order quantity to just 1 for the 30th and 31st of March, so the day of this video being uploaded and the day after. So if you've been wanting to get Octominer but you don't want to buy 5, you just want 1 or a couple, now is your chance. So yeah, just go to octominer.com and you'll be able to buy just 1 instead of having to buy 5. Now my third lesson was when I realized just how important mining efficiency actually is. And I know you hear the mining YouTubers always going on and on about efficiency, but I'm actually going to show you with a kind of fun example here just why it is so important. But just quickly, for those of you who might be new, mining efficiency is basically how many mega hash, you know, how much hash rate are we getting out of our mining, you know, either GPUs or mining farms in total per watt of power, of electricity that we're using, right? So you want that to be as high as possible. You want as much hash rate as possible for as little electricity as possible. And I actually have a video on how your mining rig could be wasting electricity in quite a few ways. So I'll link that up in the card up there as well as in the description of this video if you want to check that out. All right, so let's explore a practical example here of why efficiency matters so much. So I'm on the whattomine.com website, which is a website that lets you check, you know, mining profitability for different GPUs and different coins. So let's make two very similar but at the same time very different mining rigs here. So let's start with 10 1080 Ti GPUs and mining Ethereum Classic, which is a coin we will be able to mine for, you know, at least a few years looking forward. At least that's what it seems like right now. And you can see we get around 500 mega hash at 1800 watts of electricity. And a very similar rig in one way would be 13 A2000s, which would also get us around 500 mega hash, but at only 1000 watts. So let's see what that would look like profitability wise in today's landscape. And just for reference, Bitcoin price today is around $50,000. So if we plug that into our profitability calculator here, you can see I have 500 mega hash, 1000 watts for our A2000s. Bitcoin price is $50,000. If we hit calculate, you can see profit today would be around $17.29 per day, right? So let's just change the power consumption to 1800 watts for our 1080 Ti's. And you can see profit today is still really good at $15.37. So no big deal, right? Well, the big deal comes in when we start looking at what would happen if crypto prices go down drastically. So let's say tomorrow we wake up and all crypto prices are a fifth of what they are today. So Bitcoin goes down from $50,000 to $10,000. And you can see here with our 1080 Ti rig, now all of a sudden we're losing money each and every day on this rig. So, you know, the only smart thing to do would be to turn the rig off, right? But let's have a look at our A2000 rig, which with the same hash rate but just using 1000 watts. This rig is now making $1.53 per day. And what you might say is, well, $1.53 a day, that's not even worth it. Well, keep in mind, this is because crypto prices have gone down. So let's now say that there is a period of 2.5 years of low crypto prices, which we've seen multiple times before, right? But let's do some math here, right? So we're making $1.53 in Ethereum Classic every single day. And remember, this is after paying for electricity. So Ethereum Classic price right now is around $50. So remember, with it being worth a fifth of that, we would get around, that would be a price of $10 per Ethereum Classic. So we'd get around 0.15 Ethereum Classic per day. And now let's say we mine for these whole 2.5 years of low profitability, right? So times 2.5 times 365, we end up with 139 Ethereum Classic after these 2.5 years. And now let's say the Ethereum Classic and all crypto prices go back up to where they were before. So one Ethereum Classic being worth $50 again. So times that by 50, and now we've made, you know, almost $7,000 in these 2.5 years. Now, of course, $7,000 over 2.5 years isn't amazing, but keep in mind, that's $7,000 more than you were able to make with the bad efficiency rig. So just because you had the same hash rate, but with a much more efficient rig, you were able to make $7,000, while someone else would have just lost money for that 2.5 years. And also, let's say that after these 2.5 years, you know, crypto doesn't go back up to what it was before. It goes up to 10 times what it was before, right? So then all of a sudden, all that Ethereum Classic you had is now worth, you know, almost $70,000. And that is all thanks to you having a very efficient rig that was able to mine profitably, even while, you know, profitability was low. And just a bit of like a bonus lesson here for our fourth lesson, and that is that higher hash rate GPUs are just better strictly because they're higher hash rate. And the reason for that is what we call hash rate density, meaning that you can fit more hash rate into a single rig just because each GPU has higher hash rate than lower hash rate cards. So let me show you why that matters. And it's because of, again, efficiency, obviously. And it's because to get the same hash rate, you can use less rigs. So as an example here, we have an 8 3070 full hash rate rig here. So each GPU gets 62 mega hash, and compare that to two 8 6600 XT rigs where each GPU gets 31 mega hash roughly. You know, this is rough numbers here, but so, you know, in both scenarios we end up getting 496 mega hash, right? So just below 500 mega hash. And a 3070 mining at 62 mega hash will usually pull around 120 watts, while a 6600 XT doing 31 mega hash will pull around 56 watts. So we can see there immediately the 6600 XT is more efficient per GPU than the 3070 is, because the 6600 XT gets around 55% efficiency versus 51.7 on the 3070, right? And so the total power drawn by the GPUs is 960 watts for the 3070s, but actually below 900 watts for the 6600 XTs. But because, you know, for the 6600 XTs we need two rigs, and let's say each, you know, core rig, you know, without the GPUs, just the computer parts, would pull around 100 watts. That means for the 6600 scenario, that would pull 200 watts, while in the 3070 scenario, just 100 watts. So even though each GPU pulls less power in the 6600 XT scenario, the total power drawn for the same amount of hash rate is actually less with the 3070s, just because we could fit more hash rate into one single rig. And so combined with what we just learned about how important efficiency is in lesson number 3, you know, density goes hand in hand with that. You know, the best you can find is high hash rate GPUs that have also got great efficiency, right? All right, another quick one for our fifth lesson here, and that is, as you start, you know, scaling up your farm, it's a good idea to know just what's going on with the electricity in your house. And what I mean by that is know sort of what circuits go to what plugs and how much electricity you can safely draw from those plugs. And the reason for this is because you don't want to start, you know, overloading circuits, blowing fuses, or worst case scenario, starting electrical fires in your home, right? So just make sure you know what plug sockets and appliances are on what circuits in your house, how many amps those circuits can handle, so that you don't end up overloading them. Right, so lesson number 6 is that mining is a marathon and not a sprint. And what I mean by that is that mining isn't a get rich quick kind of thing. And while it can be awesome to, you know, get your rig up and running and then just have it make you a bit of passive income where you cash in your payments as you get them every week or every month, that's not really how the people that are trying to make a lot of money from mining do it. But what they do is that they mine and they hold the coins that they mine, and they do that over the span of multiple years, and they just wait and accumulate more and more coin as the coin price goes up. And then when they finally have reached both a big amount of coin and a peak of a coin price where their whole, you know, wallet is worth a lot of money, then they sell all of it at once at that high price, and then they make a lot more money in total than they would have if they just mined and sold as they went. And I actually have a whole video about this concept where you can calculate what it would take to make $1 million off of mining. So I'll leave a link for that up in the card there, as well as in the description of this video. And building off of that, our 7th and final lesson today is to go into mining with sort of a plan with what you're gonna do. So for example, one plan can be to cash out everything you make as soon as you get it in order to build your farm up whilst you're still new to mining. Or another plan could be to set a specific goal for yourself, like $1 million, for example, and then just mine and hold all of your coin all the way up until your whole wallet is worth that big amount. Or of course, it could be something in the middle. For example, you sell just enough to pay for the electricity that your mining rigs use while holding most of it, but exchanging half of those holdings into Bitcoin, for example. And of course, it's totally fine to change your plan along the way. The point is more that you should just have a good idea of what it is you want to do with the crypto that you've mined before you started, because just like with anything in life, if you go into it with a plan, you're more likely to see better success out of it. Now, if you found this video helpful, then please give it one of these. And if you really liked it, you can now join the channel to help support what I do here. It really does make a difference and it means a lot to me, so thank you. But what you got to do now is you got to click on one of those videos on the screen, because this video is over. You can also click the picture of my face to subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, go click on that next video and I'll see you there. Goodbye. Goodbye, bye bye.